Like mascot, we're just doing shots, we're drinking beer, we're eating German food, we're singing in German.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Hey everybody, welcome to Adam Makes Beer. My name is Adam, and today we're gonna have a cool sit down with Ryan from 50 West. He's the pub brewer over there, and we did a collaboration with him, and my whole brewing team sat down with him and we talked about collaborations, why we do them, some kind of cool behind the scenes stuff. It'll give you a good feel for my team and also what they have going on there and the amount of fun that we have together doing this stuff. Anyways, hope you enjoy. All right, hey, so we are done now with the collaboration brew. Things went smoothly. It was a good time. It's always good getting together with other brewers. I don't know, for me, kind of one of the big things is it's nice. I'm being new to the area still, not knowing a ton of brewers. It's good to find the kind of people that, I don't know, I just always say like they're real brewers. It's good to do stuff with real brewers, and by real brewers I just mean, I don't know, people that like doing what they're doing, wanting to get better at what they're doing, and they try to stay low ego with it. So anyways, for some reason, with all that said, we ended up doing this with Ryan.
In spite of all of that.
So no, we did a collab with Ryan and 50 West last year called Sip Trip, and we're doing it again this year. Last year we did a hoppy Kolsch. It went over super well, easy drinking, and we thumbed through that, and that was a lot of fun. And so this year we came over and we brewed on the pub system today. I don't know, it's cool. It's good to see other people's setups and stuff like that. So Ryan, do you want to tell us about the beer that we did today?
Yeah, absolutely. So the beer we started and decided to brew today, which isn't that much of a pivot, I feel like, from our first beer that we brewed. It's an Italian Pilsner. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that sub-genre of Pilsner, it's essentially just like a German Pilsner, but we did a little more late hot side additions. We did a big addition of Hallertau Mittelfra and the Whirlpool. And we're also going to dry hop it, which isn't very common with most Pilsners. So, yeah, we're brewing it on Barca Pilsner malt, which is a Pilsner malt that we really love, and fermenting it on like a clean, traditional, like Weihenstephaner lager yeast. And we're going to dry hop it with Callista, which I'm very excited about, and I think everybody else is as well. So, yeah, I think that covers it. It's about 30 IBU, 5.2% ABV, real clear, hopefully. So, yeah, I think that covers most of it.
Sweet. So, yeah, I mean, and Italian Pilsner is one of those things that you kind of see popping up here and there now. It's one of those kind of increasing in popularity things. I think we're also seeing, you know, and I think even Juicy Hazy IPA is part of that. I think essentially people are looking for lighter, easy drinking, more approachable beer, and really hazy IPA is more approachable IPA. Really, you know, kind of regardless of people's various feelings on the style or whatever. But yeah, so anyways, no, I'm excited about doing it, and like I said, the big thing for me is getting in and being able to check things out. The whole team here today was really awesome. Took us over we brewed in the pub today, and then we checked out the production space as well. And I just nerd out on that stuff. I love seeing how, first of all, I love seeing like when you have a brewery install that's appropriate enough to where you can keep the place clean.
Yeah.
That's like, that might sound silly, but it's beautiful walking into a place where you're like, oh, I understand how they can keep that clean without everything else. So anyhow, Josh and Maggie have not been in as many spots, and I think the collab thing is relatively new to them. And so I'm going to pass the mic over to them. Just like, I don't know, big thoughts. I know Josh probably has a 10, 12-minute monologue that he just wants to rattle off. So I'm not going to force him into that. But just any high level notes, like what are the big takeaways for you today, Mag?
I would definitely say it's really awesome to get to see what other places are doing. It shows you, that there's more to learn no matter how much you think you've already learned, which is really humbling and really cool altogether. And then being able to help out in another brewery system, I think for a younger brewer like me, you get a lot more experience and you're able to see what other people are doing at a young stage. Where I'm at right now, where Josh is at right now, we don't have a whole lot of experience elsewhere, so these collabs are really, really special for us to be able to get out there without finding a new job, and because that's probably the only other way that we're going to be able to find more experience. So we're not leaving our job and we get to go see other places.
While that feels vaguely like a threat, I think but no, I mean, I think that's a big thing. I mean, in my mind, like, you have these situations, and I don't know, do they call it, like, on the cooking side, do they call it like a stage where you can go and like work somewhere else for a week or whatever? In my mind, if that might not be the term, is that the terminology?
I don't know, it's a cool word.
Let's say that it's.
Lean into it. Lean into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the great thing would be is to you get it at a spot, you're comfortable, you like it, but then you have like the ability just to go and work at another place for like a week at a time. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any way that you can like knowledge acquisition quicker than that, because there are so many ways to get done what we're doing. It's cool, and like there was stuff that we were talking about today. You have 10 years experience, roughly 10 years experience on the brewing side?
I wish. I have I started in 2016, so about 6 years.
Okay,
Just almost to the day, about 6 years, yeah.
Were you brewing at home prior to this?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, home brewing included, then, yeah, probably closer to like 10 years. Yeah.
Sure. So I've been brewing professionally for a little over 10, and then several years of home brewing before that, but I mean, sometimes it's just one of those deals where you're just talking beer. So like most of what we did today was just talk beer, and Ryan worked. And then anytime we took a camera out for like the easy labor situations, that's when they send me in. You know what I mean? When you have the face, you try to keep the hands clean.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's just
Look like this, so yours look like that.
Running to play somebody else.
But and I think people do collabs, and we're talking about it today. Like, it's nice to do it with other people that are in it for the same reasons as you, and legitimately, I think you can tell we enjoyed the day that we spent together. It's just good to talk brewing, talk processes, and the number of times we either talked about an ingredient or a process that we've been wanting to use. We've heard about how somebody else is using it, and we're like, oh, I want to be doing that too. So anyways, I don't know. I think it's just I think it's a good thing for us to be able to do, and I think it really takes the top off your ability to develop and see new things. Because again, like Maggie was saying, unless you go other places, you don't learn. And I mean, that's a conversation she and I have had quite a bit. Like we love working together.
Yeah.
Nod your head.
We do.
I love it. She's like in a panic, like blinking out like Morse code about saving her. That is, I'm clicking on the table.
SOS.
But no, I mean, I think that's one of the things that you want to be able to do. You want to be able to get another spot, see other things.
You can't do that at other jobs either. So I think that's something special about the brewing industry. Is like, if I were to go to a corporate job, you can do like a nonprofit party for things and a fundraiser for things together with another organization. But this is really special, where you can create something together and produce it together and do the whole entire start to finish together too, which is, I think, something special to the industry and production, and even in like distilling or any kind of alcohol production. It's really cool.
Yeah. I feel like it's really I can grab it too. Sorry.
You got it.
I think it's I think one of the reasons collaborations are so synonymous with brewing is like the way a lot of today's brewers got into it is by, and we talked about this earlier, learning from other brewers.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to get together with them and brew with them and see. I think like naturally we're all pretty inquisitive and we want to learn how, like, you know, if you're doing something better than me, I want to know how you do it so I can make my beer better. And it's, but like there's this lack of, it's not competitive. It's like we want to like raise the ceiling for everyone. So I think that's why you see that more in this industry. Like we're getting together and like we're learning together. And yeah, I can't imagine doing that in really any. I'm sure there's other industries like you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's why we see that a lot more. Like we all got in this and we all started at some level. But like the reason that I knew anything was because other people were out there willing to put their knowledge into like book format or podcast. And yeah, I mean, so I'm to not share that or like move that forward seems like stupid.
Yeah.
There's a word. There's a greater word I wanted to use.
Keep the awesome
Right.
information.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
have.
exactly,
It makes
yeah.
the entire industry better beers getting out there. You don't want
Right.
to keep that.
And in the moment I feel like you think you've learned it all, maybe that's the moment you need to walk away. Because like I mean, the more I get into this, the more I'm like, I don't know anything.
Yeah. Sure.
And I keep feeling like I could write a book on the things I don't know, which is which is pretty apparent. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, I've enjoyed having you guys today. So
Thanks for being
yeah, thank you. And you, Josh.
Yeah, and it is super good, and that's really, I mean, that's kind of the idea. It's one of the ideas behind what we're trying to do with this YouTube thing is like, there's not a ton of people doing like this kind of content like on a regular basis, right? And I mean, okay, so I came from Michigan. I got into the scene in 2012. I started brewing professionally. And like you're gonna see, this is a weird industry, right? Because being in it 10 years is almost a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like it almost makes you like a gray beard, like literally and whatever. But you know what I mean? Like for real, like our industry by and large is young enough that you don't need massive amounts of time. You don't. Yeah. The number of people with 30 years experience in this industry is very, very small. And I feel like when I was first getting into it, there was that notion of everybody sharing everything. Right. And then I think you had a lot of home brewers opening breweries. And I feel like there was like a little bit maybe more of a collegial thing going on. Yeah. And then I think sometimes, you know, ultimately we are running businesses here. Of course. Yeah. And then sometimes you end up people where it's not as much of a passion project as it is a business, which there's nothing wrong with, because we have to get paid to do these things and stuff like that. But I also don't want to lose that element of it, right? Because I mean, the thing that people don't really want to talk about is the fact that we're competing with you.
Right, of course.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, every
like,
tap handle you have is one that we don't.
Yeah,
have, for sure.
Yeah, but I think we're in a cool spot, and in my mind, what should be good about it is like when we do stuff, I don't care if you see the things I'm doing. You don't care if I see the things you're doing, because ultimately, like, I want to be doing like my own thing. Like we should be trying to like have like a voice. Yeah, of course. Right. And so, I don't know, I think we're in the fortunate position of being able to say, of still do that, even though, I mean, there is a bit more business around it today than potentially there has been in the past. I think so that's one of the things I think is cool about collaboration is I think it gets at the core of what we're really doing as people that love to make beer. Right. So, anyways, yeah. What else? We're gonna go for highlights. Highlights of the day, and we're starting with Josh.
Oh, highlight.
Oh my gosh.
Apple butter on a burger.
Oh yeah.
So West Virginia.
Tell us about apple butter on a burger.
Okay, first highlight is Ryan is amazing. Yes. Okay. Yes. And
this was, as a new person in the industry, this really was like, it was awesome just to get to even hear them talk about beer, because they ask questions that I would never think to ask. And so I learned things that I wouldn't even realize I needed to learn, which is super valuable. But then also, super highlight for me, we had lunch here and had a burger called the West Virginia. Guys, they put apple butter on a burger with bacon and caramelized onions. And it's so good. And it works so well. Just everything balances exceptionally well. And I love food. And so that was probably my highlight. I'm not going to lie. Eating that burger.
It was very good, man.
I'll be back for more. Oh, and their fry sauce. They should can that.
All right, Margie, what you thinking?
I think I would have to say the highlight of today was, like Josh said, listening to you two talk, because I wouldn't have thought to ask questions like that. But to be involved in somebody else's brew day process is super new and interesting, and to watch how someone else does something that you've only learned in one way, for the first time watching that in a different way was really, really, had me thinking a lot about, you know, like you said earlier, the more I think I am learning more about this industry, I actually know that I know less about the industry than I thought. So it's like your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. And there's like,
My son loves that song.
It's just really like, you know, it's really cool to watch that. And I love working with you, Ryan. I think you're awesome. And to be able to come to 50 West, where it was an older brewery. This is an older brew pub. So knowing about it from like being in Cincinnati for a while now, to come here and brew here too was really exceptional. So just being here, I think, was really awesome. Inspirational.
All right. Well, that's hard to follow up. So that's a good quote too. All right.
I love this song.
So for me, I'm actually going to go back to our first collab. So our first collab was kind of brought together by, we'll just say, the powers that be, and we brewed a beer at your facility back in, what was that, like September of last year or something like that. And it's always like the first day at school. You never know how things are going to go. So I went in and brewed with you guys, and it was just like, man, it just clicked immediately. And like anytime you work in an industry and then you find people within that industry that have like similar passions and like, you know, you just vibe
Just
and
as
everything.
nerdy as you
Right, yeah. And it just like, it clicked immediately. And I remember, and I still remember, I remember like calling my wife when I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a great brew day. I had so much fun. And like with you we talked about this earlier. You're like, you know, you're not from Cincinnati, so you brew differently. And like, I learned so much brewing with you, and like your inherent ability to teach and the way you delegated and managed and led, and I just really enjoyed it. And it made me excited to have you guys here to see the way we do things, because like for me, it's not about like what I'm doing here. It's like having you guys view what I'm doing, like, hey, what could I be doing differently, or like, what are you interested in? And it just opens up so many doors to conversations that I wouldn't have if I was just brewing by myself. So yeah, collabs are fun, but they're even funner when they're with people that you would like. I would do this for free. So,
Sure. Yeah.
That's probably
Absolutely.
my takeaway. Thanks for being great. all three of you. So, yeah.
Yeah, and no, and I think all that is spot on. And honestly, just to jump back from a hospitality standpoint, everybody has been absolutely fantastic. We've really enjoyed ourselves. Yeah, I mean, and I kind of touched on it before. But it's just good getting into other spots. It's good seeing stuff. Like, honestly, I don't get out much. I know that might sound weird. I've got so many kids, and I don't go places. And really, I mean, like, and this is actually a spot that I could take my family, because they actually have the accommodations for it. If you've not been here before, tons of outdoor space, volleyball courts. I've had friends tell me about this place, and it was cooler than what they told me even. So yeah, it's a sweet spot. You really need to come out and check out 50 West. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're gonna maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.